Hey guys, I just recorded a story and somehow the audio wasn't recording, so I'm gonna tell it again, but I'm gonna summarize it this time. So when I was a freshman in college, I had these two pit bulls, and I lived in a house with 10 other people, and they also had dogs. So there was also a Rottweiler and two Doberman Pinschers living in the house. So we lived in the house together, and we all rented it, and they were all my friends. So the house next to us always had these crazy nutso parties on Fridays. So this one Friday, 3 months before school ended, so we dealt with them for the entire year. We did prank them and call the cops on them 6 or 7 times, but so we did mostly we didn't tell them to stop having parties. We just called the cops on them every time they had a party. It was fun. So this one Friday, it was 3 months before school ended, and these five super drunk guys jumped the fence into our backyard. They were planning on going skinny dipping in our pool, and our pool was covered because it was freaking February, and you are not. It was literally 40 or 50 something outside, so the dogs weren't outside, but there was a doggy door, and we didn't close it because the dogs usually have to go to the bathroom sometime at night, and we didn't want them waking us up because then we never go back to sleep because of the party. So these five super drunk dudes, they jumped the back fence, and the dogs ran outside barking like crazy, and they went after the five guys. One of them started to run away, but then passed out drunk. Two of them got on the trampoline, and the other two started running around being chased by dogs. Those two got jumped on, and they were on the ground, and the dogs were on top of them. The dogs weren't biting them or anything, but they were scaring the crap out of the drunk guys. So we ended up calling the cops, and the cops stopped the party, and a bunch of people got arrested for underage drinking. The five guys in our backyard were 19 and all got arrested also. We did not get arrested because, one, we weren't drinking, and two, there was no reason to arrest us, but whatever. So then those five guys got arrested for being, one, on our property without our knowing, or without our say-so, because they had jumped the fence. We didn't even know they were there until they started screaming because our dogs were trying to eat them. So then they got arrested for that, and then underage drinking, and then that was the first time any of the dogs I ever had got arrested. And these are not the same dogs from the clown story. There's a guy walking on my property. What the Okay, then. This dude is walking around my house. What the fuck? See, I'm home alone right now. I'm not answering the door. This fucking guy is literally just walked around the front of my house, rang the doorbell. My dog just went crazy, as you heard. And then he just walked away. Okay, then. Weird. I kind of want to stay recording, so if he like tries to break in. WTF. Whatever. Okay, back to the story. Where was I? Oh yeah, drunk kids. So they got arrested for being underage, and then for being on our property without our say-so. I forget what that is. Like, it wasn't private property, but it was still, like, they weren't allowed to be there. Sorry, I had to get a drink of water. Like, we hadn't let them be on our property. We didn't even know if they were there. So they might as well have been, like, thieves or something. But, whatever. So then, they said they got arrested, and then they took our dogs in, like, for some reason, just mine. They took just my dogs in, even though the other dogs were, like, Rottweilers and stuff. So they took my dog in for, aggression therapy. And they called me, and they said, hey, one of your dogs just died. And I was like, what the fuck did you do to my dog? Because, I mean, yeah, he was old, but the shelter told me that he had at least, like, 3 or 4 more years in him, and I was like, what the fuck happened to my dog? And they said his heart failed, and I was like, what the fuck were y'all doing to him? And they said they were just exercising him, and I was like, bitch, how do you exercise that? You exercise that dog to death. What the fuck? So, they sent my other dog back to me. It was the younger dog that had health problems. I had to give him, like, these pills, but he was fine, mostly. But he was, like, really sad, because he was missing his friend. It's freaking me out knowing there's a person walking around my house, and I just saw this really fast flash across my windows, and I don't know what it was. I'm being paranoid, but... So, like, he was really lonely and sad, even though he did have the other dogs that were in the house. So, he ended up dying the next year. I forget why. But when I remember, I'll tell that in a story too. So, until then, goodbye. And in the next story, I'll probably talk about, like, all the crazy crap we did in college.